Hey everyone, it's Melissa here. I have a few moments while I'm waiting for the train to go into Sydney, and on my way over from where I parked my car, I was thinking about what I'm doing today. And actually what I'm doing is I'm going to meet with two potential clients. I do both personal and professional development type activities and all those kinds of things, and today is more about the professional development side. And one of the clients I'm going to be talking to, we're going to be talking about leadership development. And so I was really starting to think about what this whole thing about leadership development is. And you know what? At the end of the day, leadership development is personal development. Absolutely. Because how can you be a leader if you haven't mastered yourself? It's personal mastery, it's personal leadership. And before you can lead anyone else, you need to at least be working toward yourself, bettering yourself. And I think the idea, sorry, I got distracted there with people behind me, but here's the deal. I think we have this misconception that we have to arrive somewhere with our personal mastery. And quite frankly, my personal opinion is that there is no arrival. We get to different levels, we improve, we grow, but there's no final arrival state, right? The final arrival state is potentially death of this life, at least. And again, my personal view is that there's more beyond here, and I think we're continually growing and evolving and expanding, and that's what we're about. But this notion that we can lead other people without first leading ourselves, I think is a bit of a misnomer. So, if you really want personal or leadership skills and leadership development, you need to be working on yourself. You need to be making sure that you're self-aware enough to know when you're having a bad day or what your triggers are, so that you're not bringing that into a workplace, causing a toxic environment, not losing your crap on other people that isn't warranted, that you actually have some level of compassion and emotional intelligence and recognition that other people have different perspectives, be able to put yourself in those shoes, try to at least put on their lenses of the way they see the world. Am I saying justify other people's behaviors? No, I'm not necessarily saying that. We all have to work together. But one of the things that I've developed in the last eons is what I call the Soul Cubed framework. And when I teach personal or professional development, especially as professional development that deals with things like leadership, it's all first about the self. And it's self-awareness, it's self-expansion, it is self-mastery, and as much as we can ever master, right? Because there's always more to go, and not more in the sense of striving, and being on that hamster wheel. It's more about a deepening, going deeper and deeper so that we can soar higher. And, we are each at different places with that self-expansion and that self-mastery. And sometimes we may be a little bit ahead of the game in some areas of it than others, and some we might be behind the game. For me, in my own personal development, I like to think I'm pretty good most of the times with relationships, but my self-mastery as it deals with my physical health, I have some work to do there. But the other thing that we need to think about is once we have a certain degree of grasp on ourselves and our self-awareness in certain contexts and situations, we then need to understand the other and put ourselves in other people's shoes and recognize that where they come from, and really try to understand those that we are leading and interacting with. And it's good to be able to do that, but then the next part of it is us. So you have the self, which is the S, the O, which is the other, right? A grounding in that, and then the you, which is the us. Because invariably, when you and I get together, we're not always going to see eye to eye. We're going to cause conflict or tension, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is definitely something that we need to work with and through and together in order to collaborate, because we as an us can do so much more together than we ever can on our own. So that's self, other, us. And that's just really, I think, a miraculous thing. And I've worked through this process with people in the past, and I've seen how going from the self to the other to the us perspective on any personal / professional being personal development really works. And then the L cubed, it's leveraged learning and leadership. So that is more about, okay, I understand me, I understand you, and I understand, not just understand, but can practice. These are skills, right, and capabilities how that dynamics works together. And then now I know how to help mentor, lead teams of people. I leverage my learning in leadership, and then I can move to that. But how you can lead someone else or lead a team without having personal leadership, I can't understand. I just don't think it's entirely possible, which is why we have organizations where there's toxic environments, where there's nastiness going on, and it's not benefiting anyone, right? So anyway, these are just my thoughts that I wanted to share today as I go off to talk with some clients about leadership development and what that looks like from my framework. And I'd be interested in your thoughts, right? So until next time, have a blessed day.